we get a chance to speak to another Seahawks legend who joins us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. One of the 50 greatest to ever put that jersey on. Chris Gray is with us. How are you, man?
I'm good. And you guys?
We're doing great, and appreciate you joining us on the show. And I'll ask you the same question we've asked everybody else we've had a chance to talk to. How surprising was that to you? B, what does that feel like to be acknowledged as one of the 50 greatest in the history of this franchise?
Gosh, I was just blown away. I was blown away when Chuck called me. I thought it was actually Robbie Tobeck and Steve or Walt or somebody playing a joke on me. But I really did. I was blown away. All the great players the Seahawks have had over the years, Pro Bowlers and Hall of Famers. I was very appreciative, but just blown away. That's how I have to describe it. So.
Well, Chris, you shouldn't have been, man. I mean, you had 121 consecutive starts, and that's a Seahawk franchise record, man. I mean, you had a great career, really. And tell us about you end up here in Seattle. You started off in Miami. You were in Chicago for a year, and then it sounds like when you got here, things just really clicked.
Yeah, that's I started off in Miami. I got drafted there. I started there for, I guess, 2.5 years, something like that, and went to Chicago. Played one season there. Started probably, 5 or 6 games there. Just guys got hurt, and they brought me in to anyway. But I made it to Seattle. They asked me if I could play guard and center. And I could play both. And I guess I'm drawing a blank. LSU guy, center before I got there in '97. Kevin Mawai. Kevin was there. Just left. Kevin had just signed with the Jets.
Right.
And I think they signed Kevin Glover, and then Brian Habib came in. So I came in with those two guys.
Okay.
Anyway, just things clicked. Kevin got hurt. Habib was playing guard that first year, and then Kevin got hurt, and I was kind of the guy who was going right and left and playing center, as a backup. And Kevin got hurt. Then there's I guess my first year, it was Frank Beatty got hurt. We had another guy, Greg Bladorn. Greg Bladorn got hurt. He was the third string center, and next thing you know, I'm the only center on the roster.
Yeah.
Hey, so I ended up playing center that year.
Yeah.
Chris, you talked about starting in Miami. You were in Chicago for a year. You're a guy that's, you grew up in Alabama. So Seattle, how familiar was it to you? I assume maybe you'd been there before, but did it feel completely foreign? Like you're on the complete opposite side of the country.
It did. Me and my wife, we went up there. We weren't sure exactly what to wear, what to take when we went to visit. We're thinking, my gosh, is it cold like Alaska? Or we had no idea. So it was so far out there.
Yeah.
But, man, we fell in love with it. It was a great place to be, I'll tell you that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I love you got the call from Chuck Arnold, and I love that that guys never grow up, really. I know when I'm around my teammates, that it's the same thing. They call me whatever my nickname was so I take it that Robbie had maybe him and Walt had played some tricks on you before, or that was expected, right?
Stuff like that. Yes. Well, it's we always. There's so many stories just with locker room banter and practical jokes. The whole thing. Water. When you take your pads down, the water falling down and icy hot on your pads or your jock strap or something. Anyway, all that crazy stuff. So.
I remember one time.
Always a joke being played.
I remember one time somebody put baby powder in my pockets, and I didn't know. And I went to dinner with my wife, and I went to pull my keys out or whatever, and I just went inside the restaurant. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. No, that's the part you miss. All the camaraderie and the hanging out with the guys.
Yeah.
That's the fun part.
Chris, is Is there a moment in your career that I mean, obviously you went to the Super Bowl in '05 with the team, but is there a moment for you individually that stands out? A game, a play, a season, anything that stands out when you reflect on your career?
A game. I'm trying to think. Oh gosh, I have to think about it. But that one season, 2005 season, we went to the Super Bowl. Yeah, that was a year. We were playing really well. I mean, our offensive line, me and Hutch and Tobeck and Walter and Sean Locklear, we just all clicked. I mean, that was probably those 3 or 4 years there when we were all together. I mean, that was the best time. I didn't have to really say anything. I could just say Robbie, and he would know exactly what I meant. Mm-hmm. He would say the same to me. What, like, alert or something? We didn't really communicate that much. We didn't have to. We were all on the same page, and that was probably the funnest years I had playing football.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that 2005 year, and I think I brought this up to Robbie too, and I'm pointing this out just to display how good you guys were. But you were playing the Redskins in that '05 season, and it's 3rd and 1. You line up an I formation. This is like Tyler Lockett dropping a pass, right? You got Max Strong as the lead blocker, and then you got Sean Alexander, and they run over the left side. Maybe they should have run over the right side, over where you were, Chris. But over Hutch and Walter Jones, and then of course Robbie, and you didn't pick up the first down, and it was like, this is shocking, man. I mean, you guys were so like automatic, and and I asked Robbie about that, and he's like, well, you know how it is. You think you're pretty good, but then the season starts to go, and you don't really understand how good you were until you look back. And you mentioned that year, but that's got to be probably, it just felt that way, right? That you guys were going to just pick things up.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, we studied a lot. I spent a lot of time watching extra film. I think at that time, the Seahawks only broke down I want to say it was 4 games. That's what they would do. And I would always go in and have the film guys come down and bring me, 5 and 6 games out just so I could see. And my big thing was if there's any crazy defenses. At that time, some of those defensive coordinators were running some crazy defenses or jam, they would run jam defenses. I just want to make sure that everybody was on the same page if they did jump into jam, we would know exactly what to do. And so I was always the guy that's asking all the questions of the coach. And some guys got sick of it, but I just wanted to make sure. Tobeck and Hutch always gave me a hard time. Yeah. But of course, I pointed out, as soon as they jumped into jam, I was like, I told you they were going to jump into jam. I'd watch film, but I would see it. I would see it on like the, 6 games out. They had three reps at jam defense, on goal line or something, and I guess Denver had some crazy defense where there'd only be 2 linemen on the line of scrimmage, and everybody else was walking around, so they wouldn't be lined up. But we ended up figuring out, me and Hutch and Tobeck sat there and watched film. We figured out after every snap, everybody ended up in the same spot. Yeah. I mean, heck, the left defensive end may be walking over Sean Locklear, but at the end of the snap, he was going to be over at the left side. Anyway, it was they gave a lot of people fits with that defense on 3rd down situations. A lot of guys wouldn't pick it up. A lot of teams wouldn't pick it up. We ended up picking it up pretty well. And anyway, we just had good communication, and we worked together well. So
Chris,
it was a fun year.
Chris, how much do you still watch a lot of football?
I do, yeah.
What do you think of just watching O-lines these days? It feels like for the Seahawks in particular, it's been problematic over the years, just trying to find that group that can, develop that chemistry. And just like you said, you could just shout Robbie's name. They know what you meant. You don't have to be specific. It seems like that's a rarity these days, and it is for the Seahawks. What do you see when you watch?
I think even college. I mean, there's a few teams. Obviously, Nick Saban at Alabama. Those guys had the best players in the country. Now, I guess Georgia is in there with that too. But to me, it's the competition you have in practice, and it's the reps. as an offensive lineman, for me at least, I had to physically, when you're doing stunts, when you're doing blitz pickup and that kind of stuff, which is a big part of passing off stunts, is just the timing and just the punch you need for a TE stunt or an ET stunt. I had to physically do that, or else the guy would slip underneath me and he would pick the tackle off the defensive end, like little would come around, wide open and get a sack or something. But for me, I don't think there's enough physicality in practice for offensive linemen.
Yeah.
I think they still need a session where they go out there with pads on and do blitz drill or something, or stunt drill. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think, and that I got to say, Mike McDonald, the new head coach, did you get a chance to meet him when you were here, Chris?
I did, yeah, just for a few seconds. I know he's a Georgia guy.
Oh, okay, yeah, and he is very old school, and he said that all the time. But do you see players coming out of college, like it seems like nobody's in a 3-point stance, hardly ever, quarterback under center, and do you see that has it kind of gotten harder, do you think? And now, like you mentioned, you add on the fact that you can't have padded practice and go full speed. I mean, do you think that's kind of what's setting players back as far as offensive line play goes?
I think it is, yeah. For me, defensive guys, I think it doesn't matter what they run into, but they get the feel of running into pads and holding pads with the other defensive linemen. They still get a physical feel of pushing somebody up the field and slipping and that kind of stuff. But offensive linemen, you got to be on the same page, same level. If you get on different levels, I mean, it's almost impossible to pick up stunts. Yeah. So it's I think the physical part, there needs to be a part in there for offensive linemen to work that kind of stuff out. But like Alabama, just when Nick Saban was there, and the new coach is good as well. But I mean, heck, the practices they had, their second team, the first team was going against, was starter quality that could play anywhere else. So they were going against good players in practice all day long. So they got full. So they're one of the better teams as far as offensive line. So many offensive linemen come out of Alabama the last few years. It's crazy.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, I'm guessing you're gonna make your way up here, and for the celebration. Is there anybody that on that list that you're like, oh man, I can't wait to see that guy? Or are you regularly in touch with your offensive line? Tell us how your connections are with those guys you played with.
No, I still I call Walt every once in a while. He lives down in Florida now, and then Toback just moved down to Florida as well, and Hutch is in Nashville. We were on the text thread, so somebody will send something stupid, and we all kind of jump in and start dogging somebody out. But we stay in touch. We do, and the plan was, I guess, a year ago. We all met out there a year ago. Was we were going to start taking some trips and doing stuff together. It hasn't come to fruition yet, but I'm still waiting on. I guess Toback was moving, Walt was moving, so maybe this year, once we get together, we'll make that happen. Take a trip somewhere. I don't know if we go on Robbie's boat, go down to Tampa and spend time down there, or who knows. But those are the guys I look forward to seeing. Hasselback, and the offensive lineman. So.
Well, Chris, congratulations on being named one of the 50 greatest to ever put on a Seahawks uniform. That's quite an honor. It's well-deserved, and it's an honor to speak with you. Thanks so much for taking time with us.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Chris.